Welcome to the SCP Foundation. We aim to secure, contain, and protect. My name is Researcher Taylor, and it's day 3 of the podcast. Rumours are going round about the instability of the site I'm working at. This is one of the most well-known sites among the whole Foundation. Item: SCP-049. Object Class: Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-049 is contained within a standard secure humanoid containment cell in Research Sector 02 at Site-19. SCP-049 must be sedated before any attempts to transport it. During transport, SCP-049 must be secured within a Class 3 humanoid restriction harness, including a locking collar and extension restraints, and monitored by no fewer than 2 armed guards. While SCP-049 is generally cooperative with most Foundation personnel, outbursts or sudden changes in behavior are met with elevated force. Under no circumstances should any personnel come into direct contact with SCP-049 during these outbursts. In the event SCP-049 becomes aggressive, the application of lavender has been shown to produce a calming effect on the entity. Once calmed, SCP-049 generally becomes compliant and will return to containment with little resistance. In order to facilitate the ongoing containment of SCP-049, the entity is to be provided with the corpse of a recently deceased animal, typically a bovine or other large mammal, once every 2 weeks for study. Corpses that become instances of SCP-049-2 are to be removed from SCP-049's containment cell and incinerated. SCP-049 is no longer permitted to interact with human subjects, and requests for human subjects are to be denied. Temporary Containment Procedure Update. Per Containment Committee Order 049-S19171, SCP-049 is no longer permitted to interact directly with any members of Foundation staff, nor is it to be provided with any additional corpses to be used in its surgeries. This order shall persist indefinitely, until such time a consensus regarding the ongoing containment of SCP-049 can be reached. Description: SCP-049 is a humanoid entity roughly 1.9 meters in height, which bears the resemblance of an appearance of a medieval plague doctor. While SCP-049 appears to be wearing thick robes and a ceramic mask indicative of that profession, the garments instead seem to have grown out of SCP-049's body over time, and are now nearly indistinguishable from whatever form is beneath them. X-rays indicate that, despite this, SCP-049 does have a humanoid skeletal structure beneath its outer layer. SCP-049 is capable of speech in a variety of languages, though tends to prefer English or French. While SCP-049 is generally cordial and cooperative with Foundation staff, it can become especially irritated or at times outright aggressive if it feels that it is in the presence of what it calls the pestilence. Although the exact nature of this pestilence is currently unknown to Foundation researchers, it does seem to be an issue of immense concern to SCP-049. SCP-049 will become hostile with individuals it sees as being affected by the pestilence, often having to be restrained should it encounter such. If left unchecked, SCP-049 will generally attempt to kill any such individual. SCP-049 is capable of causing all biological functions of an organism to cease through direct skin contact, and autopsies of SCP-049's victims have invariably been inconclusive. SCP-049 has expressed frustration or remorse after these killings, indicating that they have done little to kill the pestilence, though will usually seek to then perform a crude surgery on the corpse using the implements contained within a black doctor's bag it carries on its person at all times. While these surgeries are not always successful, they often result in the creation of instances of SCP-049-2. SCP-049-2 instances are reanimated corpses that have been operated on by SCP-049. These instances do not seem to retain any of their prior memories or mental functions. While these instances are generally inactive, moving very little and in a generally ambulatory fashion, they can become extremely aggressive if provoked, or if directed to by SCP-049. SCP-049-2 instances express active biological functions, though these are vastly different from currently understood human physiology. Despite these alterations, SCP-049 often remarks that the subjects have been cured. Addendum 049-1 Discovery. SCP-049 was discovered during the investigation of a series of unknown local disappearances in the town of Montalban in southern France. During a raid on a local home, investigators found several instances of SCP-049-2, as well as SCP-049. While law enforcement personnel engaged the hostile SCP-049-2 instances, SCP-049 was noted as watching the engagement and taking notes in its journal. After all of the SCP-049-2 instances were dispatched, SCP-049 willingly entered Foundation custody. The following interview was conducted by Dr. Raymond Ham during the initial investigation. Interviewer: Dr. Raymond Ham, Site 85. Interviewee: SCP-049. Begin log. Is that French? Could we get a translator?
The key was English. Not even translation, sir. I didn't speak it well enough.
Good. My name is Dr. Raymond Ham, and I...
A doctor. A like-minded individual. No doubt. What then is your specialty, sir?
Cryptobiology. 1.
A medical man. Teeth is safe. We're not bound. And here I'm worried I had been abducted by common street thugs. This place, then, this is your laboratory. I had wondered. As clean as it is, and with such little trace of the pestilence here.
The pestilence? What do you mean?
This courage, the police, the name. Come now, you know, what is it they call it? No matter. The pestilence, yes. It unbalanced outside these walls, you know. So many have succumbed. And many more will continue to. Until such time as a perfect cure can be developed. Fortunately, I am very close. It is my duty in life to bring the word of it. You see, the cure to everyone cures.
When you say the Great Dying, are you talking about the bubonic plague?
I don't know what it is.
I see, right. Well, the entities our agents encountered at that house, they were dead when you encountered them, yes? And you reanimated them?
In a matter of speaking, you see things differently. Not to expand your horizons. Life and death, stillness and death. These are amateur terms for amateur physicians. There's only one element that exists in order all of them. And that is the pestilence.
Interviewers notes, while SCP-049 can communicate in a human way, there is a strange sense of unease that one experiences when in its presence. Make no mistake, there is something very uncanny about this entity indeed. Additionally, we've confiscated that pointed stick that SCP-049 keeps waving around. Part of this was due to standard confiscation protocols for the possessions of anomalies, and part because 049 really is a menace swinging it around like he does. The entity was displeased at first, but after we made some concessions in providing it with test subjects, which are admittedly for the benefit of our own research, it warmed up to the idea. Addendum 049-2 Observation Log. While in containment at Site-19, SCP-049 has spent a considerable amount of time studying and performing surgery on the various mammalian corpses it has been provided. SCP-049 will routinely spend several days performing surgery, and then, regardless of whether or not the corpse becomes an instance of SCP-049-2, spending several more days documenting its findings in a thick leather journal stored within its doctor's bag. SCP-049 will often seek to share its findings with members of Foundation staff. Observational Log 049-OL-1 Summary. Subject: SCP-049. Preface: a test subject, D-85123, was introduced into SCP-049's containment cell. The entity expressed sincere gratitude toward all members of the containment and research staff. SCP-049 began asking D-85123 several standing medical questions as it began removing tools from its bag. Shortly after finishing preparations, SCP-049 quickly closed the distance between the two, killing the subject with a touch to its throat. Afterwards, SCP-049 made a number of considerable alterations to the basic structures of the subject's corpse, often introducing fluids from within its bag into the subject by way of hand-powered pump and copper tubing. The resulting 049-2 instance became animated, flailing and grasping at the walls of the chamber with a number of manufactured limbs, while moaning out of an oblong orifice now present in its sternum. During this time, SCP-049 was observed taking notes of the instance in its journal and remarking to the watching research staff about the efficacy of its cure. Security personnel entered the chamber to move SCP-049 back to containment and were attacked by the instance. The security team dispatched the 049-2 instance, and SCP-049 returned to containment with no resistance, stating that it was pleased with the results. Now that is creepy. I think I'm gonna go throw up. That's all for this lecture. Thank you for watching or listening.